One of the challenges that face beginner and even intermediate level guitarists are bar chords. Now, we've all been down this path trying to play that perfect bar chord and making it sound as clean as possible. Many times what happens is that the finer details of the hand mechanics are overlooked. Either they're not taught properly, or if you learn them yourself, there's no way to know what you had to do in order to play a clean bar chord. It looks easy. Someone who's been playing it for years can play it and make it look as simple as anything. But there are some things that you have to know and some things you have to implement into your practice sessions to make them sound better. All right, now I'm going to break them down into 4 simple rules that you must follow in order to better your bar chords today. Right this very second. If you follow this at the end of this lesson, your bar chords will sound better. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is when we approach our 6-string major bar chord shape, okay, very, very popular. I'm sure if you're viewing this video, you've probably tried this before, and if not, you're going to take a look at it now. What we're going to do is grab this bar chord shape, all right, and of course the diagram, so to speak, is right above me here, so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Basically, the shape, in a nutshell, is I'm barring, or placing my first finger across the 5th fret. In this case, of course, it can be played anywhere. And what I'm doing is I'm placing my 2nd finger on the 3rd string, 6th fret, my 3rd finger on the 5th string on the 7th fret, and then right below it, my pinky is going to go right on the 4th string, the 7th fret. All right, so I have my bar chord. Now, many times what happens is the bar chord will sound like this. All right, now this may sound familiar to a lot of you. There's always a few strings that don't come out at first when you first attempt this, and even after you've been playing it for a year or two, if you don't know the finer details. Well, here are the 4 rules. Number 1, you want to make sure that your thumb is pointing away from you, okay, and it's relaxed on the center of the neck. All right, so this is the way it'll look when you play, just like this. Next, we're going to arch your hand a little bit. You don't want to choke up the bottom of the fingerboard. It's the worst thing you can do. You want to see some space. You want to see some daylight between your palm and the neck here. All right, so you're going to arch your hand a little bit, relax it. Okay, next thing you're going to do, number 3, is you're going to establish your bar. All right, now your bar is going to come, in this case, from your 1st finger, and what you need to do is place it right up against the fret, parallel with the fret. I'm going to turn here, so hopefully you can see this. I'm not back like this. Okay, it looks like a slice of pie in there, right? Like a little triangle. You need to bring it parallel with that fret to the point where maybe you can't even see that fret. That's okay. If you cover the fret just a little bit, what we're going to do, the next step, is to roll our 1st finger over. Okay, that gets into rule number 4. Bring your elbow in toward your body. Okay, that is going to force the 1st finger over on the side. If your thumb is facing away from your body, up toward the headstock, that will allow the elbow to come in and the 1st finger to roll over on the side. Okay, and you should have a nice clean bar here. One more thing I have to mention about this bar chord. You may have to experiment by moving upward a little bit. If you can see my 1st finger, I'm riding it up a little bit in increments, or maybe down a little bit. What happens here is if you're doing everything right by the end of this session and you're still not getting a clean sound, what happens is you might be in one of these little divots in your finger, okay, where the knuckles are. You're going to see a crease in your finger, all right? So if you see that little crease and you happen to feel that on the string, move your finger up a little bit or down a little bit. Usually it's up, okay? Usually it's up, and that will get rid of that buzz, and the string, instead of settling in that little divot, it will be off of that and you'll get a cleaner sound. But you want to roll over on the harder edge of your finger. Next thing you want to do is place your fingers. 2 on the 3rd string, 3 on the 5th string, pinky on the 4th string. Now, if your elbow is not in far enough, look what happens. You're not clearing the strings underneath to have a good sound. They're going to be very buzzy. Now, if I start to bring my elbow in, watch my pinky. It really affects the pinky. Check it out. Here's my pinky. It lifts right up. Okay, I hope you can see that on your screen. But if I bring my elbow in, that will lift right up. I'm not doing anything with my pinky. I'm not moving the pinky. All I'm doing is moving my elbow. And that is going to push my fingers up on an angle so I can get a really clean bar chord. Now test it out. Play each string independently. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If my elbow is outside, I'll get this sound. Alright? Big buzz on the 3rd. Big buzz on the 2nd. But watch what happens when I move my elbow inside now. I'm going to play those 2 strings. Right there, they start to clean up. So my elbow, if you could see that movement there, push those fingers right up, and I got a great sound. Alright, if you follow all these rules, your bar chord will improve right away. And then, of course, as you implement these steps during the week, maybe the month, you'll have a really nice bar chord. But right away, you should hear a difference following those 4 steps. Now, let's say you have a 5th string bar chord shape. Same rules apply. Only one is slightly different. If we play a major chord, in this case I'm playing D major, first finger is at the 5th fret, and I'm going to bar my 3rd finger now at the 7th fret across strings 4, 3, and 2. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to bar my 1st finger as well. Okay? 1st finger bar, 3rd finger bar. My thumb is pointing away from me. I might even get lower on the neck here. It's fine. You can go anywhere from the center of the neck or lower. Just don't come up too high. You'll never get a good sounding chord. Next, I'm going to arch my hand. I'm going to get my bars set. The only thing that changes is I'm going to move my elbow to the outside. Just a little bit here. Okay? Now, by doing that, I'm going to place more down pressure on the 3rd finger. Alright? And you're going to need that in order to lay it flat. Okay? One of the most biggest problems that students have with this particular chord is the 3rd finger wants to do this. It wants to stand up. Okay? And you will not get a bar on these strings. What you need to do is bring the elbow outside. Rock it to the outside, work your thumb in there, and relax it so that you can put more down pressure on the 3rd finger. Now again, keep the 3rd finger parallel with the fret. Alright? You don't want to move it back this way. You're never going to get a good sound. You have to have it parallel with the fret. Okay? So, as you play this chord, a lot of guys play it from 5 to 2. String 5, 4, 3, and 2. And then, you may get a big buzz on the 1st string. Well, that's because the hand may not be arched enough or you're not pushing in enough on the 3rd finger. What you want is a good sound off the 1st finger bar back here at the 5th fret. Alright? Now to do that, of course, you need to get a good bar with your 1st finger, parallel with the fret. Again, has to be parallel, right up against the fret all the way down. And you need to have a good bar at the 3rd finger as well. If you do that, and you have this little lift right here, I hope you can see that lift right at my knuckle. It's not flat, but there's a lift here. That's allowing the 1st finger bar to grab that 1st string note there, that A. And you get a really, really good sound. This one is slightly harder than the 6th string form. However, if you follow those rules of placing the thumb on the center or slightly below on the neck, facing away from you, arching your hand, being able to rock your elbow in and out depending on the bar chord that you have, and placing your bar parallel with the fret, you're going to have success with this chord. Now, if you want to learn more about bar chords and other concepts relating to these chords and more, then you're going to want to check out 2 courses: Fingerpicking Mastery and A Beginner's Guide to Playing the Guitar. Of course, you can find both of those courses at www.elmoremusic.com. Okay? So Fingerpicking Mastery is going to include these topics and more, and also A Beginner's Guide to Playing the Guitar. Go over there, check them out, and happy playing.